Hi guys. This channel is going to be all about healing. Right now, it's my stories and what I've gone through, and honestly, this experience over the last few weeks of recording some of the things that I really never talk about or very rarely talk about has been so healing for me. And after having gone through a lot of what I have over the years, I've learned how important it is to have people that you can trust and people who have gone through something similar and just a good group of people around you. So if anything that I say connects with you at all, I would love to be that person. I would love to help you if I can, even if it's just to listen. And if this channel at some point grows into something, then let's build a community of like-minded people who have had similar experiences and worked their way through them and came out on the other side and now can give guidance and love and support to other people. I have experienced 3 huge losses in my life. And in my first video, I talked about losing my husband and that experience and where I am now on that journey. But the first loss was 24 years ago. And what started out as probably the best day of my entire life turned into what was probably the worst day of my entire life. On November 2nd, 1999, I received a phone call in the morning from my doctor telling me that I was pregnant. I had taken a blood test the day before, and they were calling me back with my results. And needless to say, I was ecstatic. It was an amazing feeling. I had always wanted to be a mom, and it was just incredible. That afternoon, I received a phone call from my father telling me that my mother had been diagnosed with cancer. So what started out as the best day of my life quickly turned into the worst day of my life. It became abundantly clear to me that I needed to start to prepare for both my pregnancy, but also to prepare to lose my mom. Even if she wasn't feeling great, she made sure to come with me to my doctor's appointments. She was with me the day that I found out that I was going to have twins. And that was really incredible. And she also was with me the day that we found out we were having a boy and a girl. And that was really incredible. And one of my favorite stories is on the way home from the doctor's appointment where we found out the sex of the kids. We were going back to her house and we stopped at the gatehouse, and there was a man that was working there that my mom had a good relationship with, and she grabbed my ultrasounds and she hung them up and she said, "We're having one penis and one not penis." And for the next week or so, that was literally what she told everyone. We're having one penis and one not penis. It was really important to her that she helped me get their room set up and get their closet set up. And so she came over to my house and she did all of their laundry and she organized and hung up all of the clothes in the closet. And it was an incredible memory that I still think about all the time. On May 16th, 2000, 2 months before her 50th birthday, we lost our mom. I was 32 weeks pregnant. And on July 4th, 2000, just 6 weeks after we lost her, my babies were born. It's funny because this video was actually supposed to be about how strong I've become and how it's much easier to deal with this. And you have some real life shit going on here now because emotions creep up. Although it was obviously devastating to me to lose her before the kids were born, there's a big part of me that felt like it had to happen at that time. She had to go at that time so that she could be inside of my kids. She could actually be a part of my kids. And I know that that sounds pretty woo-woo, but I am pretty woo-woo. And from a very young age, I'm going to say a year and a half to 2 years old, my daughter would walk around the house and she would point up and she would say, "Granny, Granny." And she was having conversations with my mother. One day when the kids were about 3 years old, I was taking my son out of the bath and my daughter was in the bedroom right next to us. And I heard her start laughing, hysterical. So I grabbed my son and we went out to the room and she was sitting on the floor and she was holding a picture of my mom. And the picture was not supposed to be on the floor with her. It was always up on the dresser right next to her. And so I asked her, "What are you laughing at?" And she said, "Granny's tickling me. Granny's tickling me." And again, I felt that connection, that bond that was really hard to describe, but it was such an incredible thing to see from the eyes of such an innocent child, because she didn't know any better one way or the other. It's really interesting now that my daughter is older, because every once in a while, when I give her a really good hug, I feel my mom hugging me through her. And there was actually one specific time where I was struggling a lot. And I hugged my daughter really tight and I started to cry. And I said to her, "I feel like my mom is hugging me through you." And she said to me, "Mom, she is. She's here." These kinds of things don't happen often, but when they do, they really remind me that maybe not everything is so finite. And maybe even though they're not physically here with us, they do have ways of still letting us know that they're here. The grief that I have from this loss really has shaped a lot of my life. As I mentioned in my earlier videos, I really kind of started this spiritual journey about 5 or 6 years ago. And in the process of going through this journey, even though it might not seem like it on this video, I really have a much healthier relationship with the fact that she's not here physically. I've had to do a lot of work on it, but I choose to believe that when I hear her favorite song on the radio and I start crying, that she's there with me That's her way of telling me that she's there. And it's taken a lot to have a different kind of relationship with this loss. When you look back and see that when your kids were born, some of the most important moments in my life that she wasn't physically there for. 4 years ago was the 20th anniversary that she had been gone. And I was far enough along in my journey where I made a conscious decision to start to really try to heal the trauma of the loss. And so up until that period of time, and again, I know it doesn't seem like it from the video because of course I cried, but up until that period of time, I could barely even talk about my mother or mention her without crying. And I decided that I wanted to have a much healthier relationship with that loss. And so I went on a journey that was about a year long and really watched videos and read books and meditated and tried to get to a place of some sort of healing. When I got to a place that I was comfortable with, I decided that I was going to have a meditation and I was going to talk to her. And this is not something that I had ever thought about doing before because I probably wasn't in the right place. But after being through this process for the last year, I heard about other people. I saw a lot of other people who said, you know, this is how you connect with people that you've lost. And so I felt like I was strong enough to be able to do that. And what I wanted to ask her was, why? Why did she leave? And I prepared for this meditation and knew that this is what I was going to try to talk to her about. When I was meditating, I was asking for her. I was asking for her to come to me. And she did. And after spending an appropriate amount of time with her, I asked her, why did you leave? And interestingly enough, this is not a story that I have ever told to either one of my siblings or my father or my family, because I didn't think that they would be able to handle it very well. But you can. So I asked her why she left, and she said to me, I need to show you something. And all of a sudden, this light came out, and 3 little kids came out. My mom used to say, always say, that she had a very easy time getting pregnant, but a very hard time staying pregnant. And she lost 3 babies. Those 3 babies met me that day. I would have been younger than 2 of them and older than 1 of them. And my mom explained that she needed to be with those babies. And even though her time with us was cut short, she was there. And the whole thing was one of the craziest experiences of my entire life. But it made sense. I understood it. It made sense. From that point forward, my relationship with this healing process has been very different. I was going to say that I don't cry as much as I used to, but I guess that's not true, right? But it's a different kind of cry. It really, truly is. It used to be a grieving cry. And for anybody who has grieved, I think you understand what I'm talking about. It's just an inconsolable sadness. And now it's different. I lost my mom at a young age, and because of the way that I was so consumed with grief, it was difficult for me to be there for anybody else. Now that I'm a little bit older, I have friends who have lost their moms and friends whose parents are getting older. And up until a few years ago, even though I had gone through the experience that I went through, I found it very difficult to try to help someone else. But now I truly feel like I'm on the other side of it. And now I could be there for people who are going through those losses, who are going through that strong grieving, and be a little bit of light for them when there's so much darkness. And that's really what I want this channel to be about. We have all had losses that shape who we are and what we become, and ultimately what we decide to do with our lives. I am now on my own personal mission to turn healing into helping. And I don't know exactly what that looks like or feels like, but I'm doing what feels right to me. And making these videos feels right to me. If you have connected at all with anything that I've said, if you've had similar experiences, feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is below. Let's heal together. Let's help together. And let's be there for the people who are just starting their journey so that they don't have to do it alone. And that they feel a sense of community and love. Most importantly, love. I hope to connect with you soon, and I hope that you have a beautiful day. Bye.